Hi there, and thank you for tuning in to The Social Circus, where every week we dive into a variety of topics covering social media, mindset, and how to run your business. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. Hello, my lovely listeners, and welcome to another episode of The Social Circus. I am your host, Sarah Thompson, and this week I am joined by one of my lovely clients, Olga from Studio Thimble. Welcome, Olga.
Hello, Sarah, and hello, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I am so excited to be speaking to you today, Olga. I'm really looking forward to sharing your journey of something that you're incredibly passionate about that you've turned into this wonderful business that's called Studio Thimbles. So for all of my listeners, I'm sure they will pick up that you have an accent. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your journey from your homeland to Australia and a little bit about your childhood, because that's where your passion for sewing really started. So if you're happy to share whatever you'd like to share, fire away.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love sharing this story. Yes, I'm originally from Russia, and I'm just a simple girl who loves sewing and been doing it since about 10 years of age. And I've been sewing throughout of my life, but I very often surprise people by telling them that I'm actually a process engineer by my degree. From the childhood, I was dreaming to become a fashion designer, not even knowing what the fashion designer is, thinking that if I sew, I must become the fashion designer. But reality of life led me to the different paths, and I become a process engineer, which I don't have any regrets for, because that's what actually brought me to Australia back in end of 2007. And here I settled and met my husband, and now we have our own family and two beautiful children. And that's what I think Australia as a country allowed me to actually follow my passion and leave eventually mining industry after the birth of my first child and follow my passion for sewing and share it with others.
Oh, I love that, and I love that you were raised in a time, and I think from our conversations, we had very traditional families, and I know my mum and my grandma both sewed a lot, and they both were voracious knitters as well, and that kind of instilled in you something that I think we're losing along the way, which I feel is really sad. I'm ashamed to say neither of my sons could probably even sew a button on a shirt. My mum would be horrified. And it's a skill that we're really losing, but it's having a resurgence, isn't it? So talk to me about Studio Thimbles and what it is that you offer as a passionate sewer to the general public.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny how you mentioned that both your mom and grandma sewed, because none of my mom or grandma sewed. And it was a weird in the family. They was wondering where I come from. But it's just I tried it as a hands-on experience at school, and I just loved it. Like from the first sort of idea and making something by my own hands, it's just fall in love with it straight away. And that's what I offer now at my studio, is actually helping beginners who either have an idea that they want to start learning to sew, or maybe experience classes like during the home economics or something and wasn't really successful, but really have some burning desire, like, oh, I should probably give it another go. And that's what we do at our studio. We help those beginners to start from scratch, from like not knowing what to do, to creating their first projects and being happy and proud about their creations, and little step at the time, little stitch at the time, improving those skills, and maybe take path of making your own clothes.
I love that, and I love that because I think a lot of us did do home economics, like you say, and I remember I had no natural sewing talent, and my poor mum had to restitch these tracksuits that I made at school so I could actually model them for school, because you had to make something and model it, which is dreadful. And I think that that often isn't the experience that we're hoping for. And I know for all of my listeners, Olga's studio is based here in Perth. It's in central Subiaco on Hay Street. So if you're a local here, go in and see her. But you really wanted to share your passion with other people and to bring a resurgence to the fact that we can all sew and we can all do from really simple to quite complicated projects just with the right guidance, which is what you offer there. So tell us about some of the classes that you offer, because I know that you run lots of school holiday programs, but you also have classes for us grown-ups who maybe can't even sew a needle or, thread a needle, as it were.
Sure. Like I actually love this time we live in, because yes, sewing as an art died for a little bit. And I think we have the generational gap where the people now whose moms and parents, they actually don't know how to sew themselves. And obviously with this scenario, they don't know what to pass and how to teach their kids. But now I think we have this a little bit of this dying arts coming back, but more from the sustainability point of view, where people want to go op shopping and make what they purchase, personalize it in their own way, or like just to change a size simple. All those sustainable enthusiasts who don't like throw away society and they just want to, fix that fallen off button or fix the hem or fix the hole. And we pretty much offer a range of classes which suitable either for kids through the school holiday classes or through our term program where the kids come every week and create with us all the time on a more permanent basis. Or for the adults classes, we offer those very, very beginner friendly sewing short course, 5 weeks, where you just come once a week and learn how to use the sewing machine, learn how to do those simple things which will help you to do those simple things at home. But if you want to take it further, we can offer you a next level where we take you on a journey of making your own from scratch. And after that, the sky is your limit.
Oh, I love that. And I love that you're sharing all those. And for my listeners, I'm sure you can hear it in Olga's voice. She's such a patient person. And I think that that's probably, I know you have a passion for sewing, but you have such a wonderful disposition to help people, because I don't think I could do what it is you do in terms of really helping people at that very first step to get that confidence. And I see all your photos on socials of people who are really proudly wearing the things that they've made or holding up the things they've made with there's so much joy that comes from being able to create something yourself, isn't there? And can we talk a little about the dreaded COVID word? Because that's been an interesting time for you and your business. So talk to me, because when did you first open Studio Thimbles? And obviously you're still here after COVID. So talk a little bit about when you first opened the studio. I know you've moved to bigger premises, and what that process has and journey has been like through COVID, where people actually used to come into classes.
It's a funny time. Thank you for asking. Yes, I did started this business just 6 months before COVID. With not really much of a big of a plan, just started to creating some classes and offering them to friends and family just to accumulate some feedback, some content material that I can post and everything. And as soon as I started, I pretty much had to wrap up very quickly when the COVID started early 2020. And obviously we couldn't run any classes or anything, but luckily I think the lots of landlords jumped on board and was helping small businesses where they just seized our payment of the rent for 3 months. And saying that's actually COVID worked in my favor, to be honest, because that's time when I had to shut everything down, obviously no face-to-face activities or anything like that. I really put this time into like creating my website, developing more workshops, sitting at home, creating the tutorials, creating the pictures, and building the website and putting everything out there. And the minute we were able to do it, even with the mask, we pretty much was straight away onto it. And I still love going back to those pictures and seeing all my classes, people wearing the mask, or I was wearing the mask and the kids were without the mask. Such a funny times. I'd like sounds like it's not even happened to us, but yeah, it did. And initially it was happening all in a very small 20 square meters room, still here in Subiaco on the Kubi Road. That's where it's all started. And I was there for about a couple of years until I feel that I wanted to expand it a little bit. And I took the next 20 square meter room, ranked side by side from one another. And we expand our classes to like from 3 maximum people to 5 maximum people. And now we moved just a year ago, we moved to a much bigger premises. So from 220 square meters room, we moved to a big 145 square meter 2-story building where we can just run so much more classes. And I now have a team of girls as passionate as I am about sewing and sharing this with other people. So we can run 2 classes. We could take more people per class, but we don't, because that's where we love this value, holding everyone's hand. And, as you mentioned, you do need that patience when the people just starting out their journey. answer all the questions, and yeah, just help people to fall in love with sewing, not being frustrated with that. And that's where I think we differentiate ourselves from other like offerings like TAFE, let's say.
Yeah, which is very functional. And I love hearing your story, Olga, because I know that for many of us, COVID was such a difficult time, and I know that many of us are still here because of the support that our state and federal government put in place. My business is certainly one of those, and it makes me really happy to hear that you did kind of what I did. I was very quiet in my business, and I decided to lean into do the things that never get done. Your to-do list for your business, which is relentless, and because you're busy, it doesn't get attended to. And the fact that you embrace this, I'm going to build my website and get that done, which is a lot of work, and then kind of lean into what other classes would be amazing. I love that you had that hope that it was all going to return to normal, and that when it did, you came out with a bang. I love that story so much. But with your business now, I love hearing that we're having a resurgence, that our habits are changing, because there is definitely a generation gap between like our traditional grandparents and parents that were very into making their own clothes because that's what everybody did, to having access to what we now have as very fast, very cheap, disposable fashion with a lack of quality, and people desiring to do something better for themselves and their environment. So with some of the things that you teach, let's hear about that, because I know that I can sew a hem and that certainly adjust some clothes, but you actually teach people how to purchase things from Op Shop and adjust them to fit themselves, which is, or make little alterations so they're a bit funkier.
What we do, I always say, we teach the skill. What you do is the skill. It's really up to you, because we're all a little bit of creative and always like to add our own twists and everything. Sewing, it's a basic set of skills, which with those sets you can do so much. And we always encourage people, rather than, throw away fixing things or repurpose things. Like, lots of my students do love op shopping, and they bring things here and they show us, like, it's almost feels sometimes that we want to do show and tell. We don't do this, but my idea. So people buy from the op shops either completely repurposed to something else, like it was old pair of, I don't know, jeans, which no one else gonna wear, and we can make a cushion cover out of it. Or it was a dress, which you don't really like it as a dress, and you can simple turn it into a skirt. That's those freestyle projects happen in our social classes, where people already been through our courses. They're a little bit more independent. They know how to sew, but they are after this social connection as well as the skill. So they just love to sew surrounded with other people, sharing ideas, asking the questions, getting a help from each other. So yeah, they can do all sorts of things, including like altering and repurposing old things into new.
And I love that. And I'm glad that you mentioned your social aspect to it, because I think coming out of COVID, one of the things we all realized, that who was sitting there all the time, is that we love people, we love community, and we love connections. So as well as your structured classes, you have a social club that we can come along to. So tell us a little bit about what that looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. This was my goal from the very beginning, because I'm, as a business owner, sometimes lack of the time to serve for myself as well. So I always have this dream to create the social aspect as well, where I will be as a member, as a part of a social group, making my own things, crafting for myself and family, alongside other girls, and helping them at the same time. So moving to the bigger premises, that was one of the reasons why we moved, because I needed that bigger space to accommodate a little bit more girls. And plus, social classes, it's not where our revenue come from. So we still have to run our classes, and we can run upstairs. That's where the two-story comes from. While the downstairs, we run more relaxed social sewing days. So it's a once a day. Girls just come in and bring whatever they really want. And 3 hour sessions. You can come in for all 3 hours or just for an hour, whatever suits you on that particular day. And just, bring your own projects, work along others, and just ask help if needed. We absolutely love the social group. And at the end of each term, we might just have a little bit of nibbles and celebration at the end of the term. And breaking for the school holidays, because we run lots of kids classes at that time. And then the new term begins, we all come back again and come every week to the studio.
Oh, that sounds just delightful, and I love that you are part of this revolution of bringing back these skills that are really important to us as members of like, thoughtful members of society, so I love hearing all of these things. Now, I know because I've been working with you on this, so it is a totally loaded question, but I know that you have big plans for Studio Thimbles and that you're currently working on some online courses and digital products, so do you wanna tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. It was a long time in making because I thought my biggest value I can deliver only on the face-to-face classes. So for a very long time, I was running face-to-face classes, but then I have so many inquiries when the people either live far away and they cannot drive all this way to Subiaco, or due to their working commitments, they can't commit every week at the same time, like people who work fly in, fly out, let's say, or shift workers. But they wanted to learn, they wanted that help and support so that they can learn at home possibly and maybe just once or twice drop into the studio. So for the people like this, I created pretty much a sister of my beginner course, but online version of it. So where I try to create the same environment, the same depths of teaching like I provide on face-to-face classes, but recorded it all online. And now it's all could be purchased from our website, and the girls can start learning at the comfort of their own home and hopefully get into this, sewing sort of get back ish and keep sewing and creating and get satisfaction of this. So that's our latest addition to all our face-to-face classes.
Oh, I love that, and I have to say, I know that what I'm really hopeful for you is that it's going to really expand your reach because at the heart of everything that you do is this real passion for you to share your love of sewing. And I think that if we're ever going to grow a business and we come from that heart-centered space like you have, the world needs to hear that, and they need to see what your genius that you have to offer. So I'm so excited that because I've for all my listeners, I've worked alongside Olga to help her bring this to life, and um, the the care and love that she has put into this online course is nothing short of remarkable because it really replicates the care and love that you would get if you actually came into her studio and met her in person. So I want to say a big kudos to you, Olga, because I know that's been a huge labor of love for you to create the online course and to really allow other people to experience your love in their own home, like you say, in the comfort and time that they have. So um I'm excited for that to be out in
Yeah,
the world.
I appreciate that.
Oh, my pleasure. I really I do love your space. It's such a beautiful space when you walk into it, and it feels like walking into someone like a friend's home, but really beautifully set up for us to do those crafty things. So
I love my space as well. I would easily live in here if I could, but I do have two little children to look after as well.
awesome. So, in terms of your business and your plans, I mean, you're already doing amazing things. With the studio, what would be your dream to see it grow and change? Like, what would be next for you, do you think?
Look, it's always a work in progress, as we achieve the little goals, we set up the next goals. I My big dream now is to provide this little support to as many people as I can. And sometimes people just they don't realize that we're here, or they don't even know that support like this exists. If someone at home sitting and thinking like, oh, I would like to learn how to sew, I have to go to TAFE, or it just like brings you all these memories probably of your own study and you just don't want to go that path. And it's a lot of time I hear when the people walk here for the first time. It's like, oh my God, I've never knew that something like this existed. What you've been here for. So my big goal is to introduce people who maybe don't realize that we're here, that such a service exists, or maybe don't even think that they want to start to sew, but give them a go, give them a try, maybe in a very fun environment. And that's where we're planning now to introduce different parties like baby shower parties or kids' birthday parties, maybe even corporate sort of fun celebrations as well for small teams. Just change this traditional, going to the bar, having a couple of drinks, go and do something fun together with your team. So introduce people in a more fun way rather than in a more structured, long-term sort of educational course. And just, yeah, make this studio very busy, buzzing with the sewing excitement.
Oh, I love that. And I love that you're branching out into something that's very non-traditional, like, having worked in corporate a long time and done all those dreaded corporate team building activities. I think it would be so fun to go in, and because I think for many people it'd be way outside their comfort zone, so it ticks that goal, but it also allows us to see other people in vulnerable situations and to allow them to try being creative and to try something really different. So I'm excited to hear how that goes with corporates. I think it's a really exciting avenue for you to be exploring. So if any of you are sitting there listening to this podcast and like, oh, that would be really fun, please reach out to Olga, because we really want people to be doing fun, interesting, dynamic, creative things, not going for drinks and not going for playing golf. That is super boring. We can do better in 2024. So, Olga, thank you so much for being a guest on my podcast. I've been so excited about chatting to you, because whenever I come into the studio and work with you, I always feel so inspired by your genuine love for what it is that you do and your genuine desire to share that love with the rest of the world. It's so nice to be in your orbit. So thank you for coming along and being a guest on my podcast today.
Oh, thank you, Sarah. I can't believe that I've listened all of your podcasts and now I'm on the other side. I've been such a pleasure to be here with you, Sarah. It's exciting for inviting and for letting me to share my passion today.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. And to my beautiful listeners, I hope that you feel inspired listening to Olga's story with Studio Thimbles, and know that we can turn things that we are so passionate and love into a really wonderful business, and know that this can be done even through the toughest of times, like things like COVID, when it seems like this can't be real, we can't do face to face. So I hope you've enjoyed listening to Olga's journey. Please go and check out the show notes, because all of the links on how you can connect with Olga on socials, the link to her website, so you can go and check out her online course, will all be there for you to have a look at. And one final note, thank you again, Olga, for coming on. I've loved chatting to you today. It's been delightful.
Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. And to my lovely listeners, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. And remember, you can catch the Social Circus the same time every week. Thank you for listening. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Social Circus. As your host, Sarah Thompson, I am thrilled that you've chosen to spend your time hanging out with me. I would be so grateful if you could spare an extra moment to go and leave me a review on your favorite podcasting platform. And if you even felt more excited, you could share my podcast with your friends who you think would get great value from it. Thanks so much again for tuning in.